Hey, well, tonight I'm angry about the sanctity of our election. I'm talking about, obviously, the 2020 presidential election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. We are now 9 days past the election. We do not have an official winner. Many entities have declared a winner, primarily the media outlets, including Fox, with the ostensible Republican network, which also has joined the Biden bandwagon. And it seems to be unanimous that Biden is the president, except for the small detail that a lot of fraudulent votes may have been cast. Now, I'm going to ask you to step aside for a second because I know that even though a lot of you are Trump supporters, there are Biden supporters out there, and I am sympathetic to anybody who is engaged in politics. But my point is this: you need to have faith in the system. There's no reason for either side to be willing to accept fraudulent ballots. There is such a thing as a fraudulent ballot. It's not that every ballot should be counted, every vote should be counted. It's every legitimate, legal vote that should be counted. And if you don't agree with that, then perhaps you should go back to civics class, because it is every legal vote. We don't allow tourists visiting from France to vote in our election. Similarly, we should not allow illegal immigrants who happen to be here to vote. The citizens of this country are the ones who get to determine the course of the country, and they should be the ones who make these decisions. I don't understand why so many citizens are clearly willing to just forego any kind of citizenship obligation or requirement to vote. Why would we allow people who are not citizens to determine the course of the country? And if there is a question about the votes and the election tallies, why would we not all be in favor of seeing those issues resolved? Right now, it seems like the Biden supporters are only too happy to accept the victory, whereas the Trump supporters are determined not to give up in their claims that this election was fraudulent, that votes were counted that should not have been counted, that votes were not counted that should have been counted. And it seems like a tangle of spaghetti that's going to be impossible to unravel. But I would ask you, as Americans, if you are an American watching this, don't you care about the sanctity of the system? Doesn't the system matter more than each individual candidate? Does it matter if Donald Trump or Joe Biden is elected this go round? Isn't it more important that our elections be reliable, that we can accept the results as legitimate, whichever side you're on? Our system is all that we have. The fact that Democrats are not asking and demanding that all legal steps be taken to ensure that the votes that were counted were legal is very distressing. I would be just as distressed if Republicans did it. I suspect that Republicans would do it because partisan emotions are extremely high these days. Nobody has any time for anybody else's perspective. They only see it from their point of view, and their point of view is Trump is bad, Trump is out, hallelujah. Whereas I have to say, whether you like Trump or not, his fortitude in enduring the non-stop verbal onslaught from everybody, every media outlet, even Fox is encouraging him to surrender, and Trump will not. This is an example of where Trump's negatives are actually helping him. He is someone who doesn't care. He has his own opinion, doesn't really care what anybody else thinks, goes his own way, and is willing to flaunt anybody else's opinion and everybody else's opinion to do what he thinks he should do. And right now, he is not surrendering. My hat is off to him. The pressure on him is immense. I have no idea if Trump won or lost the election. I believe he won. I believe that the fact that Republicans made so many gains at the national level means it's very unlikely that Trump himself didn't do well. I believe he got 10 million more votes than when he was elected the last time. The system is more important than any one person, and the system is more important than any one election cycle. The fact that this year we have a pro-Trump and an anti-Trump contingent, both vehemently, emotionally invested in their position, is no reason to turn our back on the system. Next time it'll be somebody else. Next time it'll be your guy. Next time it'll be your votes being tossed away. Next time it'll be your votes not being counted. I think everybody's vote should be counted. Everybody's legitimate vote should be counted. The fact that a lot of my fellow citizens are not demanding this is very distressing to me. We are Americans, and the American system is one man, one vote, and the votes get counted. The one man, one vote is actually one man or woman, but it does not include tourists or illegal aliens. It's citizens who determine the course of the country, and the fact that the citizenry is so divided that they don't even care that the election is disputed. Think about that. Half of the population does not even care that the election is disputed. There is no interest in us coming together from either side. One side feels that they've gotten away with murder, and the other side feels that they have been robbed. There's not going to be any peace until we come to terms with this. Our election systems need to be fixed. We are a first world country, or at least we used to be, and the fact that we can't count votes, we cannot count votes. To this day, we still don't know what the vote count is. It's ridiculous. You'd have to think that it's by design. It surely can't be by accident. We are the dominant democracy on the planet. We've been exporting democracy for decades, and we seem unable to implement it here at home. It's 9 days since the election. How many more days are we going to wait until there actually is a result? And CNN and CBS declaring a winner is not a result. We need better in this country. We need to demand more, both from the politicians and from ourselves. Please, let's wake up.